goal is, and our mission, is to clean out the 54 miles of protected wetland that were affected by the storm. All the homes from the barrier island washed into the wetlands. And we've organized a group to go in there and to remove all this debris. It's also going to be a very long process, but we're ready for the challenge. So far we've removed 500 cubic yards of debris out of the wetlands by hand. Porta potties, the wash showers from Brick Beach, which are actually cement, boats, jet skis, and one thing was we found the Lavalette Beach Dune sign. Lavalette is south, and it has traveled across the bay into the deep part of the woods. So when that surged, that water went every which way. I've had a woman come up to a cleanup, and she was working beside me, and I had found a rug, and we were pulling on it, and she started to cry, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry because it was very upsetting. And she said, oh my God, that's mine. And I said, what? What do you mean this is yours? And she goes, I've been coming to your cleanups because I'm trying to find my house, and that's my rug. And as we started pulling it, we found the side of her house and her shutters. That's all we found, but all she asked for us was to please, if we can remove the shutters and she could take them home, because that's all she had. So we did, and our guys were wonderful. They pulled their shutters off, we brought them in a car, and we still actually keep in touch with her, because anytime we go on, she lost her grandmother's jewelry, so when we go on these cleanups, she likes to join us just to help find her grandmother's jewelry. That's all she wants.
According to a USA Today report on December 12, 2012, officials estimated that Sandy created more than 10 million cubic yards of debris in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. Enough to fill the old Giants Stadium more than 4 times. Incredible. And according to an Associated Press article, October 13, 2013, a massive cleanup of debris that washed into New Jersey waterways after Superstorm Sandy is nearing an end. So far, more than 101,000 cubic yards worth of debris have been removed from lagoons, bays, rivers, and the ocean. That's enough to fill more than 50,000 full-size pickup trucks. An effort to dredge sand and mud from waterways will continue into the fall. The storm washed entire houses, 194 boats and cars, tons of other debris into our waterways. My guests today are superwomen. I know we call it superstorm. Well, it creates super people. They're part of the grassroots effort to help remove the debris left behind from Hurricane Sandy in our wetlands of our community. Brick, New Jersey, Brick Township, has over 54 miles of protected waterfront property that was impacted with debris from Sandy. You don't even realize that. 54 miles of protected waterway. Their group is called the Echo Warriors. It was started with 4 friends, Maura Edge, Dana Platt, Cherry Glenson, and Ray DeToro. This group joined forces with the Visitation Relief Center, which is part of the Visitation Catholic Parish in Brick. The Echo Warriors also built an alliance with Save Barnegat Bay, an environmental nonprofit group with 44 years experience, thank God. Save Barnegat Bay has given them guidance and introduced them to organizations and people who also want to help this environmental cleanup. Their mission? To restore and clean up the damage done by Superstorm Sandy in the echo-sensitive areas in Brick, and to bring awareness to their community through education on the importance of wetlands and shorelines and keeping them clean and in their natural state. With me today to share about their work with the Echo Warriors are Maura Edge. You already met Maura at the open of the show telling us about the work of the Echo Warriors. Maura has lived in Brick all of her life with her husband and her beautiful daughter. She is the special assistant to the director of Visitation Relief Center and the co-founder of Echo Warriors. Maura, bless you.
Thank you.
That great smile of yours and the little tears in your eyes, I checked all that. But you know what? That makes you who you are, isn't it?
Yes, it does.
Janine Cora Rogers is the community garden coordinator of the Visitation Relief Center, where they grow vegetables, fruit, and herbs for the food bank. Janine is also part of the Echo Warriors outreach. Janine, thanks a lot for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Christy Winters is the program director of Visitation Relief Center. She's responsible for inspiring the outreach programs to fulfill the Visitation Relief Center mission to facilitate family recovery and then rebuild after Superstorm Sandy. Christine, wow. So you're the kind of mechanics that got this thing rolling, huh? You and the others. We all are. That's the way to put it. Tell me, Christine, and thank you all for being with us. Gosh, just even seeing a couple of minutes of the roll-in just makes yourself, oh my gosh, material damage is one thing, heart damage is another thing. And I know sometimes people say, well, time heals. And I say, maybe it puts scar tissue there. I don't know if it heals the whole thing. But Christine, maybe you can tell us a little bit, about a little background, if you don't mind, on the Visitation Relief Center, which operates out of one of our parishes, Visitation Catholic Church in Brick.
Yeah, actually, and it was a good point that you raised. It's not just me, it's everybody. It's our community. The reason why the center exists now is because of the voice of our community. It's our families coming in every day telling us what exactly it is that they're struggling with, what their unmet needs are. And through that, we look at everything and we develop outreach programs specifically just to help those particular unmet needs. Everywhere from rebuilding their homes to helping with food, helping with donations, helping with filling out paperwork, navigating through the paperwork. We were able to build a great partnership with Catholic Charities Diocese of Trenton. Looking at our forest, I want to say I think it was about 2 months after the storm, 14 parishes, we gathered together locally. And through that, one of the big discussions that we had there was the impact of all the debris in our wetlands, throughout the forest, throughout our whole entire community, and how exactly were we going to tackle that? Because, these are all areas in our parks where we take our families to go fishing, swimming, all of that. And we had so much on our plate already. And that's when, a lot of prayers went up and, I said, somebody, you got to send us someone else because we're only a couple. We were only a few back then. And now we've grown to a lot. And that's when me and Maura crossed paths.
So you started out, I guess I was going to even say, I know your moms.
Yeah.
So that tells me you're saints to begin with. Your moms are home doing mom's things, I guess, And then all of a sudden the storm came.
Yes.
And before that, you were moms or maybe doing other things too. But and then all of a sudden you got together and out came a whole outreach.
Yeah, our parish. One of the really special things was that our parish still had power. So our doors, Father Al, he opened up the doors to our parish, and the community and all of our parishioners got together and we cooked warm meals and had a place just for everyone to gather up. And that's how it started right after the storm, was just everybody just gathering and staying warm and getting clothing and starting to figure out from there.
So you have a parish center? Is that what you were using?
Yeah, what happened was then a couple of months after the storm, we realized that this was going to take more than a couple of weeks. And Father told us, he said, this is something that we're going to have to keep going, keep doing. And so we started looking for a place to rent. And it just so happens next door to our parish, a old garden center went up for lease. And that's when we really started pushing forward. We were able to write a few grants and get in contact with a couple of people, and all the pieces just started falling in together. And one of the big things was families were having a difficult time going from one nonprofit organization to one government place to another. So our idea was to bring everything underneath one roof. So so the families didn't have to go all over the place. They were having to take multiple days off of work just to go between FEMA, meeting with caseworkers, this, that, and the other thing. So we brought in Catholic Charities, Save Barnegat Bay, Operation Hope, Habitat for Humanity. We talked to anybody and everybody that was helping during the storm, and we brought us all underneath one roof.
Physically?
Yes.
Everyone just,
And now you lease that
We
building?
lease out spots, to other nonprofits, which keeps everyone's costs down, so.
And this all started with 4 of you getting together, so to speak, or how?
Well, the Eco Warriors themselves, that's one of, like I was explaining to you, a community outreach of Visitation. Visitation Relief Center has 9 community outreach programs. And when the 14 parishes got together, we were recognizing multiple unmet needs that our family and our communities were telling us about. And one of them was the impact of our wetlands and families' homes and their gardens, even their landscaping plants that are indigenous to our area were lost. So
when the stormwater flooded people's homes, obviously it destroyed their homes, whether it was the entire house or the basement or the first floor. But also, if you think about salt water coming in from the storm and flooding their property. So, if they had whatever lawn or landscaping or garden they had, when the salt water came in, it destroyed, all the plants would have died if that had happened to the property. And it would have some kind of impact on the soil in the short term. So there are families who are slowly moving back home, whether it's that they have renovated and they're moving back in, or they have had their homes lifted and moved back in. And now, the next step for them is thinking about restoring the health of the property that they care for, right? So we're helping them to re-landscape their property in a bay-friendly way, like moving forward. I mean, maybe they had bay-friendly landscaping to begin with, but if not, moving forward, we're going to help them to restore the soil health and to re-landscape their property in a way that is more bay-friendly. What I mean by that is, if you restore the soil health, then the soil can more easily absorb rainwater, and that's better for the bay when there's not runoff. So helping them to more appropriately use when they fertilize their lawn or fertilize their property, to not do it in a way that would harm the bay in terms of chemical inputs when it rains and things like that. So that's where kind of the eco piece comes in.
Wow.
So that's like, as you could see, the Eco Warriors are one of the community outreach programs and Visitation Relief Center. So we have multiple, like our Rebuild Warriors, we have the Food Warriors, we have Tool Warriors, we have...
Well, warriors.
Yes.
Yes.
We're all, helping families get back home.
But,
So
Fighting the fight.
Yeah, and we did, you are correct though, and we did start off as 4 friends, and we didn't know Christy at that time, and
Yep.
we had a goal, and was to remove this debris, and we were trying to figure out how to do it. So through the Facebook, I was told by a friend that there's this woman down at this Visitation Relief Center, and to come on down and they'll give me garbage bags. So I'm like, all right, I need garbage bags. I'm gonna go down there and ask for them. And I walked in there, and the first thing she says to me is, I told her what I needed, and she goes, I was just praying for you last night. I'm like, excuse me? And then she goes, I just said a prayer about you last night that I needed a group to come in and help with the environment, and here you are. And from there, we built a really good relationship. We've had maybe 8 cleanups. Our largest was 500 volunteers showed up. And we removed a lot of debris, all by hand.
Wow. Let me get this a little bit straight now.
Sure.
So you were the Eco Warrior,
I started,
Christy was
Visitation, really.
visitation.
but now we're
Now
together.
you're together. Now,
Yes.
wow.
We're one. We are our department of the Visitation Relief Center.
Right.
And Ginny, when you were talking, I'm sitting here saying, "Well, how'd you get all this knowledge? I mean, did you have all this knowledge before time, or was this like all of a sudden you said, look, we got to do a lot of things, and we read, study, ask people?
Some of that. We have a, because the Barnegat Bay is our local
Yeah.
water body, we have quite a few people watching may know this, but the Barnegat Bay is a part of the National Estuary Program, so it's an estuary of national significance, and because of that, there's organizations like Save Barnegat Bay and other organizations in the area that have been around for a long time to try to protect
they were
and
already-
restore.
I gotcha.
So there is a lot of information. People in our community have access to a lot of information about Barnegat Bay, and I sort of know about it that way, but in terms of protecting the bay and stormwater runoff and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And I'm learning. Like I said, I've been a buyer my entire adult career in retail, and now I'm out there saving the bay.
Whole new adventure.
Whole new world.
Now you're buying love and
Next
building
chapter.
up.
And building homes. I'm
building
learning how
homes.
to build houses and
Wow. Tell me a little bit about it. So you founded the Echo Warriors, and you go about cleaning up the bay, cleaning up wetlands and whatever else. And I just love to hear when you said, this is the place where our children play and fish and swim.
Exactly. I grew up in this, it's called Edward B. Fort Site. It's Protected Wildlife Refuge. And I grew up playing in there my whole life. We would, there's little lagoons inside there. And when we were younger, they were secret. Like the secret place that no one knew about, and no one hung out in, except the locals. And you would go in there and swim and fish. And then in the wintertime, there's hills, and you would go sledding. So we happened to
The
go.
rest of the world did not know
The
this.
rest of the world did not know that it
Summer-
existed.
summer
It was the
visitor.
best, probably, memories of my childhood playing in there.
Sure.
But we had gone in there last winter to go sledding, and we came upon, you can sled. There was debris all washed into everywhere where we used to go sledding. And then when we walked along the lagoons, you couldn't walk. There were homes, pieces of homes, roofs. There was so much debris. You couldn't even walk. It was like you had to, boats, yeah. You couldn't just walk.
So
you had
far
to
into
climb
the
over it. And it's how far it went.
Far, very
Far,
far.
that
We're not
surge.
talking right on the water's edge.
No, that
like
surge
into the
pushed
water.
it right into the woods.
So you would have homes and boats, et cetera, now inland, so to speak.
Yes.
And this is it's a wildlife refuge, so, it's, I don't know how many acres, but it was deep into you'd have to go onto the trails, I guess, to access.
It's about 4 miles inland, 3 miles inland off the bay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would have the ocean, then the barrier island, and then the whole bay, and then
And then the
3.5, 4 miles inland
So that
to
normally at high tide, you'd have,
Oh, you wouldn't get anything really, hardly
way
any
past
flooding
high
in there.
tide.
It was,
where the debris ended up.
yeah.
wow.
It was a good mile or so pushed
Yeah.
in the surge, really
Now you
slammed it
said
back
that
there.
you took out tons by hand.
By hand, and quads. What we did was we had to get special permission because this is federal lands, so you couldn't just walk in or use quads because it is protected. So we were able to access this permission. We took the quads and hooked trailers to our quads. And then we piled the debris in because you had to walk out was about, 4 miles to dump the
Yeah.
debris.
It was far.
Maybe 4 miles is an exaggeration, maybe 2.
Probably felt like that.
It was a long walk, so it
You got
felt
a
like
hunk
4
of
miles.
concrete on your back.
And we would just load it up by hand. And then we also piled a lot of it up onto the shorelines, and then we were able to have it removed by a barge.
And at one point, you guys made a human chain
Yes, we did.
to get the debris out of the forest because it was such a long stretch.
125 Rider students came in on 2 buses.
Rider University.
Rider University. And it was amazing because we had been working early in that morning, and about 1 o'clock I was told that they were coming, but I hadn't seen them. And at 1 o'clock I got a call, they're here. It was like you had to see them coming through the woods. Lines and lines of college students, and then they lined up and just passed this debris to the shoreline. They were amazing because when we were tired, we were done, and
Yeah.
they put new energy into that whole group.
Now, how is it looking now?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Can you go down there now and
Oh,
can you like use it, walk around, or hike or whatever you
Yes.
want to say?
You can walk and you can swim in the lagoon, and you're not going to run into any houses. And it's beautiful. We have photos. We took a lot of before and afters to show you to show everyone the.
Well, I'd love to see them.
It's one of those instances where, you know, government would have come in and done it, but, you know, this was immediate. Like, this was, you know, how long would it have taken? But this community came way, way sooner, you know, and took it upon themselves and asked, you know, whose job is it to clean this up? They just decided this is our neighborhood and we're going to clean it up. You know, we're not going to wait to see.
This is our home.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the wildlife refuge. They were behind. They let us.
Right,
They allowed
support,
us in.
the
They gave us
support,
support.
I
And
hope
along
they have
with-
a little plaque there or something for you.
And that's what, you know, people should do. They should own, this is our neighborhood, this is our natural wildlife, and we're
Sure.
going to protect it. Be stewards, right? To be
Yeah.
stewards of the wild.
And I
area.
just want to
And
point out.
wildlife is heritage. It's things that people handed on to us that you want to hand on to your children and children's children.
And it makes you who you are in terms of
Yeah.
your engagement with the natural world, like Maura describes from her.
And
Yeah.
to know that you kind of go into the muck, you know,
Yes,
and
we
all of a
did.
sudden that muck is gold. You know what I'm saying? It's not gold, but it's gold to you and to your children and the history. And I mean, I just love to hear little bits about it. I love to hear this. I mean, just who was there before us, you know, and who went clam digging and who, whatever. But go ahead, Maura.
No, I was just going to say, and I just want to point out, we are not the only group that, I mean, we are the Eco Warriors, but we had a lot of support, like they've mentioned, like through Save Barnegat Bay. They were right along. They actually helped us navigate things we did not know, helped us navigate through a lot. We also had a lot of organizations constantly there, like the Lutheran Church was amazing. I can't tell you, they sent, every time we had a cleanup, they would send out 100 volunteers out there, college students and other parishes
Great.
besides our own.
Yeah, we keep it, one of our biggest mottos at the center, it is our motto, is helping each other help others. And we keep everything very simple.
You know what?
Everything very simple, right down
We're
to
all
the key
God's
like
people,
that.
aren't we?
That's
We're all
right.
God's people.
Help each
Gosh.
other, help others. That's
it's
it's
a
simple
great
as that.
lesson to learn.
Yeah.
You know, great lesson to learn. What about your hopes for the future? I mean, what are you looking to do? And also, can I ask this question? It was in my head. What about other parts of the bay? Have they been cleaned up too, or
Yes,
Okay.
there's other sections of the bay, like besides Foresight, we had what they call F Cove, and there is Cedar Island. There was a lot of different areas affected because the bay is quite
big.
it's
It's large.
And when that surge came
It's
through,
pretty much now all cleaned up to a degree? or?
No, there's much
there's
more
more.
to do.
right now there's contractors that have been hired.
Okay. Has anybody like found their boat and all of a sudden said, that's my boat, and can you save the boat? Has anything like that been saved?
I've heard stories of boats being found, and you know, maybe someone else finds it and they
Call
call
up.
the homeowner. They find out who owns the boat and they call them. In one instance, a friend of mine, they said you can have it.
We've had multiple, one of the beautiful things with the Eco Wars, what the guys do here is when they are out there, they take the care into, like Maura was telling me the story, people's personal possessions. And they bring them back, it gets posted to the Facebook page, and families who have lost things multiple times, Maura's come in contact with families and found tons of items and been able to return them back to the homeowners.
It's almost like, I guess, the stories I used to read as a kid, you know, going down into the ocean and finding treasures. I mean, so you're finding treasures
Washed up.
and,
For family
and-
members.
and actually saying, hey, folks, if these treasures are yours, come
What
get them.
was the one with the picture?
Oh, we
The-
found a painting, and I mean, we brought it back to the center and we posted, and it ends up, I can't remember the name of the artist, but it was a famous artist. And one of the homes that were destroyed on the Barrier Island, he had an extensive collection, we were told, of artwork. And very few pieces were found. And this piece we found, we returned it to him, and they told us they was going to New York to be restored.
Great stuff.
And then even something as simple as a photograph from Walt Disney World. A family had lost their whole entire home, and they couldn't find anything. Nothing. The home was gone. It was just beach sand there. And you guys found what? It was a
there-
photograph and
A bunch of different photos of a vacation.
yeah.
And when we returned the photos, the woman came, and we did not know this at the time, Christy and I, but she said to us, "This is all I have left in my home. I don't even know where my home ended up." Which,
Some of
with
them
the
just vanished.
photographs, we were able to at least give them an idea where the home was. And that was, to her, that was the most important thing, was those photographs coming
I got to
back.
tell you a little quick story if I can, because you
Sure.
mentioned Ryder. I used to be a chaplain at that place, and my family has a little house, near there and all that stuff. Anyway, after the storm, a lot of our stuff was gone, and about 2 weeks later, somebody came to me and said, "I think this belongs to you," and it was a sheet of paper from the president of Rider University back when I was a chaplain, telling me thanks for the Catholic work we did or whatever, and like and returned it
They
to me. And
found
he
it,
said,
yeah.
"I think you might want to keep this."
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So you removed the debris, and is it all gone, or do you think you're still going to have more time to remove it, or what else do you need?
It's good. It's almost gone, but now it's on a smaller scale. It's not so large as it was when we first started. So now it's going to be more of a personal not one-on-one, I'm sorry, that's not the right word.
Yeah.
It's more of a personal cleanup now, more on the homes, like
Yeah,
Janine was talking
families.
about in their,
Yeah, I mean, there are still homeowners who have debris on their property, right? I mean, so
Lots of
more
them.
the Eco Warriors more first started working with public property and public lands because it was the most, the lowest hanging fruit, so to speak, the most obvious place to clean up. But now, as the needs are evolving, we're able to find families who, still haven't had a chance to go in and remove debris that washed up on their own private property. So that would be something. And then also, like I mentioned before, helping people as they slowly move back into their homes, helping communities to, rebuilds from the soil up in terms of the vegetation and getting things to be more bay friendly, hopefully using that as an entry point into communities to help them to learn about bay friendly landscaping and how to protect the bay on their own little piece of earth in their own yard, front yard, backyard.
Even today, you guys are, right now, right this minute.
As we speak.
They are constructing a hoop house.
Hoop house, because one of the things we do as part of the Eco Warriors at the Visitation Relief Center is we restored the property there. It's about half acre, so to speak.
Yeah.
About half an acre. We've restored the property there. Now we grow fruits, vegetables, herbs, and we use that to supplement the food that's being given out from our food bank on site.
God,
So
you ladies, I want to talk to you for about 20 more
sorry.
hours. Oh my
So
God, you're saints.
what's going up right now is a hoop house so we can extend the growing season.
Well,
and
we
grow.
got to get the hoop house so people can enjoy all
Yeah.
the things you're doing. Marvelous. Oh my gosh. For more information on how you could get involved with the Eco Warriors, please go to the Visitation Relief Center Facebook page or call Visitation Relief Center at 732-746-3456. God, people are so wonderful and beautiful, aren't they? Oh, gee, thank you very much, young ladies.
Thanks
Love
for
you.
Thank you.
Can I say
Thanks for
that?
having us.
Love
Thank you for
guys.
having
Oh my
us.
God, oh man, this is.
Thanks.